Midnight Motorist, one of the most frustrating pieces of lore we've been given. Usually the FNAF community can mutually decide upon a few theories that would realistically work or be what Scott was probably trying to get across. But this minigame caused arguably some of the biggest confusion since the FNAF 4 box, and has since been left unsolved. Today we're going to dig deep into every detail we're given and see if we can finally solve who the orange and green guys are, who the two children are, why there are rabbit footprints in the backyard, what is this secret pile meant to represent, and the biggest mystery of them all, what is Junior's? Is it a location we've seen before or someplace new? Don't forget to quickly scroll down, subscribe, turn on notifications, like the video, scroll back up and enjoy the first episode of FNAF Unsolved Mysteries. Midnight Motorist is a minigame in Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria simulator, the sixth main game in the franchise, which can be accessed and played through the arcade machine of the same name. Within the minigame, you drive a car and try not to get hit by other cars while gaining a higher and higher score. Although randomly, a hole will appear in the bottom wall, which if you go in, leads you into a more detailed minigame where as an orange man you walk around, finding a multitude of things such as a place called Junior's where a green guy tells you that you can't go inside, a hidden place containing simply just a pile of something in the ground, and a house containing a child watching television. And another child should be there, although after knocking on their door multiple times, you go around the back to figure out that he's gone, and the game ends. Digging further into the code of the game though, we learnt this minigame is called Later That Night, which helps us place this on the timeline as most likely after the death of Charlotte, aka the possession of the puppet. How did everyone get to that conclusion, since it could be later literally any night of this entire story? Simply due to the answer of our first mystery, who is the orange guy. The identity of the orange guy can be solved by simply remembering, who else have we seen colored like this without having a lore reason for being that color? William Afton, who has always been colored purple and has since been dubbed the purple guy, which coincidentally or not, the exact opposite of orange guy's color on the color wheel is purple. Another piece of evidence proving William is the Midnight Motorist is simply because the car that's used is purple, which may seem a bit on the nose, but we've seen the same purple car in the FNAF 2 minigame, which we know is the first time we saw William kill Charlotte, so we can comfortably place this in the timeline. This information helps us quickly answer a few other questions too, as it would make this William's house, this as Michael, due to the color code for his text being the same color code as FNAF 4 Michael's text, and also considering the nod to when we, as Michael, watch TV during Sister Location, that being the only other time a TV has ever been in FNAF besides once again being within the Afton house. And this would all most likely make the child who ran away the crying child, due to the heavy security we know is placed for the crying child, which would make sense if he keeps running away to a place like Fredbear's, a place which after this he forcibly gains a fear of. The placement in the timeline, the identity of the orange guy, his house, and the children inside are the only concrete and universally agreed upon theories that came from this minigame that can't really be proven or make sense otherwise, although everything else diverges from here. First, the rabbit footprints can only be either Spring Bonnie if he's heading or was lured to Fredbear's, or Bonnie if he's heading or was lured to Freddy's. These are the only two possible candidates for the footprints due to the timeline placement, and majority of the FNAF community agree it's probably Spring Bonnie's, although a question remains that not a lot of people try to answer. Not who, but why. Why are they there, and why are there no other footprints around it? As if the suit was just standing there. Well, is it possible that if this is Spring Bonnie, that William was indeed wearing it when these footprints were made, but was legitimately just standing there, looking through the crying child's window with the intention of scaring him from leaving again? We see that William is not surprised to see the suit footprints, and we do know from other games that steps have been taken to prevent the crying child from leaving, so would it be that far of a stretch to consider that William's done this himself? Before we try to answer the biggest and main question everyone has, we need to mention the hidden place within the minigame where there's a random pile of something in or on the ground. Now, this would most likely be a grave of some sort, or somewhere to put a body, but whose? Well, there are two possible candidates that would actually make some sense. The first being Elizabeth Afton, who we know, if the timeline that was a joint effort with the FNAF community is correct, dies while Fredbear's and Freddy's are both still open, so everything would still work in timeline order. He could have discovered Elizabeth's body inside Baby, and then gone ahead and dug a hole to put her body near the house, and then continuing to scare the crying child away from the animatronics. Although another theory for the body is who we can only really call Mrs. Afton. aka William's partner and mother of the Afton children. The thing is, this could make sense timeline-wise, but we don't know hardly anything about the mother of the family. She could have died randomly, been killed, broke up with William, all the above, we won't ever know. Both Elizabeth and Miss Afton would make sense timeline-wise and also location-wise, being close to the family house. Now we have the possibilities for all the other questions out the way, we arrive at the two most confusing, frustrating, and simply difficult questions in this minigame. Who is the green guy and what is Junior's? Everyone's first initial thought, due to the timeline placement of this event, was that Junior's represented Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, whether that's FNAF 2's Freddy's or not, and that the green guy at the front is Henry, Charlotte's father, sending William away because he either knows what he's done to Charlotte or because William's simply drunk or something. This theory is the most popular theory, although it lacks a lot of true evidence really. But in its fairness, it could work perfectly fine and does fit, but I think the majority of people, including myself at the time, were simply overthinking it. I don't think green guy is Henry, and I don't think Junior's is a representation of Freddy's. How could this be? Why would Scott add not only a new character, but add a new location in what was meant to be the final game in this story? Well, that's simply because Green Guy isn't actually an important character, and neither is Junior's an important location. Hear me out. Junior's is just a random, unimportant bar, and Green Guy is either a bouncer / security or the bar owner. This bouncer simply tells William that he can't go back in, and to not make this a bigger problem than it is. Does this not sound to you like maybe William got drunk, caused issues inside of the bar, and then got kicked out for his behavior? Is it possible that after he got kicked out of the bar, he drove to Freddy's drunk, saw Charlotte on her own, and took his drunken anger out on her, killing her and then drunk driving at intense speeds back home, where once again getting out the car he slouched over, as body posture can be disbalanced while drunk, where he then continues to be angry, yelling at his kids. This would make sense. We've never ever been given a reason why William killed. What was his motive? What if Scott just gave us the answer but we never realized? He killed Charlotte because he was drunk and angry, and that might have made him feel some type of way, possibly gave him enjoyment or just made him feel better, that when he was eventually angry again, by let's just say due to timeline order, maybe his son dying, wanted to feel that way again and thus continued down his path of murders. William is undoubtedly a psychopath who may have found enjoyment in murder, and maybe this minigame was showing that he always was one, but the alcohol may have let that side of him come out in full effect. What if Scott literally gave us the reasoning, or at least something to be hinting towards it, and we never even realized? So now that you have all the information and know all the different theories, what do you think is the truth of this minigame? The thing is, all of these theories can actually work, but Scott will never give us the concrete answer to which is the right one. So what is the random pile in the ground? Who is the identity of the green guy, and what is Junior's meant to be? And that is the unsolved mystery of Midnight Motorist.